Hello everyone, my name is Gamer Zach and welcome back to another dev diary for Ara History Untold. Today I'm filling in for Stakuyi, who is currently traveling the world, and we have a fantastic episode for you. If this is your first time here, welcome. And we plan to release new dev diaries every month, so be sure to subscribe for future content. In today's episode, we are going to be exploring Ara's triumphs and delving a little bit into the creative process and how these monuments work in actual gameplay. To walk us through some of the more technical details, I'm thrilled to introduce you to today's guest, Emily Horton, designer at Oxide Games. Emily, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. It's so good to be here, Zach.
Now we're going to go into Ara specifically and about the triumphs. So, can you tell us what the research process is like? Because including monuments into a game like this, there's so many options to choose from. How do you narrow down what's available into what ends up in Ara?
Yeah, very big list of options. That's an understatement. Turns out humanity has been very busy for the last several thousand years. So yeah, what we really look for is a few things. I would say significance is one of them. There's a lot of cool things, I'll say that very broadly, out in the world, but there are, structures and works of, works by people who have stood the test of time and that, are known well beyond just the borders of the people who made them. So significance is a big factor. I would say that the second biggest factor, though, has been diversity. Not because we're trying to check off checkboxes, but because there's such a huge variety of accomplishment in what humans around the world have done. And from a gameplay perspective, we want to make sure that we're bringing a fresh experience to our players and not just treading, something tried and true that they already know of.
Yeah, that's such a difficult job. Good luck.
Thanks.
But once you've made your choices, so how do these monuments end up in the game? Like, how many phases does a monument go through from an actual real life reference into something in Ara?
Oh man, it's a long, complicated journey. And like most long, complicated journeys, it begins on a spreadsheet. We stay organized to first, have your initial list, initial ideas. Then we need to talk with stakeholders at the company and as well as at our publisher to get a final list. What do we actually want to see in the final version of the game? And the answer to that question has to do with what do we think we can really make come alive and be a big, important part of the experience. So once we have this sort of groomed list of what is actually going to go in the game, it goes to concept. So we have artists who will draw and concept what these monuments and other works might look like in game. And then once these are approved, because we like them, or maybe they go back for edits, but eventually they get approved. It's up to our team of modelers to do the modeling for the actual triumph as you will see it in the game. It's up to our artists to create textures, to make it come alive and look really like the triumph. It's up to our engineers to make sure that all of these graphics and all of this model data can get loaded into the game properly and look and render properly on the screen. And then we have, of course, audio, because our game is very immersive. Our triumphs, if you can zoom in, you can see the people working around it or enjoying the triumph, the people of your nation enjoying it. So there's audio for that. There's audio for what's going on at the triumph. And then finally, last but not least, you have design, who needs to figure out what does this actually have an effect on the gameplay.
Yeah, so how do you decide what effect a triumph has on the gameplay? I mean, you have like the historical context, but gameplay mechanics don't always line up to historical context. So how do you decide what features a triumph actually has in game?
I think the first big clue is if is what the triumph itself was used for when it was created, or even today, because some of our triumphs are much more modern and some of them are, even if they are ancient, they might still be in use or visited today. We want to look at how is this used, and if there's some mystery around it, like, for example, we don't truly know what Stonehenge was used for. We have to make educated and creative assumptions based on not just what research and understandings we have of triumphs, but also what players and people around the world think of about these triumphs. Because I can put the pyramids in front of you, but the pyramids might represent power over the nation, or they might be like burial chambers. How do we get it to feel that way? The pyramids in many of the triumphs evoke certain feelings or certain connotations in people's minds. So we try and take those connotations and say, well, what aspects of our game feel like that, or could be representative of that?
Yeah, you mentioned that players need to invest a lot into building these triumphs. So in game, what do players actually have to do to get one of these triumphs?
Well, in some ways, I would say the process is simple, but it requires a lot of planning and coordinating on our players' part. Like all improvements that you build in our game, you will need to invest resources. However, triumphs almost always require that you invest more advanced items that your economy has to have crafted in order to build them. Your basic resources that you're earning at the very start of the game are simply not going to be able to build, giant skyscrapers. So it is up to the player to build their economy or set their economy up such that they can create the items and materials that we specifically demand for each triumph. For example, whether it's plate glass or metal tools for building something, or it could be books and furniture to go in your library. You need to set up your economy in a specific way, or in a way that can handle creating these items on time, so that you can build the triumph before anyone else does. And then in addition to the items, you will need space. Our triumphs take up a whole entire region in any of your cities that you try to build them in. So they come with a fairly large opportunity cost, in that where you might have been able to build 3, 4, sometimes 5 improvements, you're only building one thing. It's a very powerful thing, but it comes at a cost. So you need to plan where you're going to be building your improvements, and keeping in mind as you're developing out your city, maybe this region is where I'll put the pyramids. Maybe over here is where we'll be putting Stonehenge. Finally, when you know where you're building it and you've gathered all of the necessary materials, you need time. Triumphs take a while to build, and all the while you are only building the triumph, so you aren't developing your city in other ways. Additionally, other players might be trying to build those triumphs as well. So you can certainly cross your fingers and hope that you will be the first, but as it turns out, there are many ways in Ara to increase the speed at which your cities are able to produce buildings and other just anything. If there is a triumph that you want, our expectation is that a savvy player who's, played more than 1 or 2 games can start to plan and strategize for this specific moment, for this triumph that fits perfectly into their strategy.
Well, it sounds like the amount of work you're putting into Ara is a triumph.
Yes, it certainly is. I'm honestly blown away. One of the best things about working on features like this is that I get to work with a lot of other professionals who are trying to make this the best experience it possibly can. So while I'm in a spreadsheet or in a data file, and I'm thinking about game mechanics, I come up for air and I see these beautiful models. I see people around the pyramids or whatever other triumph we're talking about, and I see all these amazing details, and it is indeed a triumph.
Well, since you're putting in so much work into the game, what are you personally most excited about for players to find or discover when they finally jump into the game?
Another question where I have to pick one thing. I'm going to cheat on this one and make it broad. I think that there is a lot of interesting decision making and strategizing in Ara. Even as somebody who plays the game and works on it, as a full-time job, I, and also my coworkers, we're always finding new ways to play, We're always theory crafting, and after a play test session, one person will say, oh, I found this way to play the game and it was perfect and this is the way you're going to have to play. But then everyone, at least 3 people, will say, no, 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 I played this way and I won, or this was also working for me. Did you consider that you were leaving these other opportunities on the table? There's breadth and depth to the game that really excites me. It's really an opportunity to be creative and play the way you want to play without having to play to a specific style. So I'm hoping that as players get their hands on it, we're just going to see what they come up with. I'm looking forward to them experiencing the creativity in Ara.
All right. Thank you so much, Emily, for joining us today. I think I speak for everyone that it's been wonderful hearing you explain all of this stuff. Any last words for the fans before you go?
For the fans, I just want to say, check out our game on Steam, wishlist it, and follow us to see more updates like this. And if you aren't already, definitely sign up for the Insider program for an opportunity to give us feedback on the game. I know I'm speaking to fans who are probably already in that program as well, so thank you all for your feedback. We are always listening to player feedback. We're huge strategy nerds, as you might have guessed. So we are just like you. We want to hear your feedback. And more often than not, we already agree with that feedback. So we need to hear it so we know how to make the game so that we know we're going in a good direction to make Ara the best possible experience. Thank you, and please keep it up.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more Dev Diary episodes. Follow us on the social platforms of your choice, and remember that you can sign up for the Insider program at arahistoryuntold.com. And don't forget to wishlist and follow Ara History Untold on Steam. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.